So what's going on, everybody? It's your boy B Greater, and I'm back with another interview. And today I got my girl Brooke. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Brooke.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Brooke. I'm the Community Impact and Operation Manager for the Texas Legends, and I also own my own business, which is Black Responsibility. I am 28 years old, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been in Texas for about almost 3 years.
All right. I really appreciate you taking this interview. I know we got a lot to talk about. So what does your day-to-day look like as a community and events manager?
Well, for operations particularly, if we're going to talk about setup, game day, and breakdown, a lot of heavy lifting, moving stuff around. I'm getting more into the delegation of it to where I'm not doing as much lifting and moving around. Definitely setting up for the game, having a checklist, making sure I'm going through the process, making sure I'm not missing anything, making sure that I'll have all the workers where they need to be, that have everything they need. Then we have the game day itself, making sure the fans are happy, making sure my workers are taken care of, they have everything they need to do their job. Game days are fun. I move around a lot. It's almost like being in a lot of places at once. Again, it's an operation, so it's always wheels turning, things moving. For the community impact side of it, it's a whole lot of creating relationships in the community, emails, phone calls, meetings, whether coffee, lunch, or what have you, and just building those relationships so that we can go into these schools or work with these organizations to run programs to the youth that will help them. It's, of course, youth development, and we have our Read to Achieve program that we just started this season that we got rolling. I love it. We start working with a local school. Then we just finished building out the financial literacy program. We plan on doing that with community center soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And we also have the basketball STEM program, which is a program that I've been having in mind for a few years now. The reason that I decided to uproot from Atlanta and come out here, STEM and sports, STEM and basketball right now in particular being what my role is. And that's just pretty much using the game of basketball through the skills, drills, games, and activities to teach certain parts of STEM that are already a part of the game to get kids interested and spark their minds and have them have fun while learning at the same time. So in our community, it tends to be pretty low when it comes to how many of us are within the STEM jobs. And as we can see with the kids moving forward, with everything moving the way it is, especially the pandemic, I say sped things up maybe 2 to 5 years. So when we think about these positions that are going to be open and understanding how much we need technologies and all these different majors and professions, I want to make sure that our kids in our community don't fall victim to it, but instead can be a part of it and can see themselves within certain roles. But in order to see yourself in certain roles, you have to know what they are and you have to actually be interested in these subjects. So interest plus exposure, I think is important. Plus, if they do it in a fun way, it's something that they'll hold on to and it's not so serious. So that's community impact. And of course, events, different community events happen, school hold events, businesses hold events. So make sure that we show up there. Again, that's creating relationships. So showing up there, having our booths, having our mascot with us, and making sure everything is good in the community. They see us and want to come out to the games when the season comes. So it's like 3 different jobs in one, but it's my job.
Cool, yeah, man. That's really dope. I had the chance to go ahead and work with the Texas Legends this past season. It was really dope. Got to go to the camps and see the kids and see Spud Webb and his grandson. Grandson was out here balling on him, but it was a good time. So what makes an event successful, and how do you measure your success?
You can tell by the people and how they feel about it. And when I say people, that includes not just the people you come in contact with, but that also includes your workers. Because we're here to provide an experience, no matter how big or small the experience is. And when your workers are happy, so will everyone else be. And usually as long as we bring the energy and the enthusiasm, the fans gravitate to it. Again, that's whether we're at the game itself, a community event, or a basketball camp or clinic. So I gauge the success based on the feedback, because they are really good at giving us feedback, telling us how much they love it. And the great part is we get to see them at so many different points. So you might see a kid at a clinic or a camp, and then that same kid comes to the game and will walk up to you and run up to you and hug you and say, hey, you remember me? Or kids like to do this thing like, I know who you are. So by the impact that it has on the kids and the impact that it has on the parents and the entire family, because we are a family-oriented organization, that's how you can test it. And what we do know about the family consists of everybody. So that does mean not just the fans, but also your workers. Everybody has to be happy. And usually when everybody happy, had a good time, people don't want to leave, or people can't wait till the next one, that means the event is pretty successful.
Alrighty then. So you said you have a lifestyle brand called Black Responsibility. Can you tell the people a little bit about that?
Yes, so Black Responsibility started pretty much with the thought and idea of, as I continued to read more Black history books and stuff like that, I was like, well, I wanted more of us to know about our history. And with us, again, it might be something similar to how we kind of talked about the kids, but as far as making it fun or making it desirable, I wanted to create designs based off the things that I was learning, and then put them on merch and use them as a talking point. I see us wearing like Japanese letters, or so many people, other cultures, things, and it's like, because of who we are and what we've been through in our history in this country, and a lot of it being taken away from us, not only do we not know our history, but you can't take pride in something that you don't know. So Black Responsibility, the point of it was to give knowledge through fashion. So I love it. It's one of the passions. I do it because everything that I do in one way or another, it comes back to building the Black community. And a big part of building the Black community is self-identity. You have to know who you are. It's hard to love yourself if you don't know who you are. It's hard to see yourself in society if you don't know what your contributions have been. It's hard to take on your responsibility as an active person in not just society, but in our culture, in our homes. And if you don't know that you have came from something greater and the great contributions you've made to society, oftentimes you don't see yourself anywhere in it, nor do you think you're capable of doing it. And I bought a book around my birthday last year, August 2021, and it was called Know Thyself, from the African bookstore in South Dallas, Pan-African Connection. And reading that book, it talked about how important it is for us to know who we are and those contributions, all the things that I kind of just went into. So Black Responsibility, it is a lifestyle brand that encourages you to look back so that you know what's going on in front of you, and just Black history in general, who we are as a people. We should take pride in it further than just old kings and queens. It sounds good, but even in Kemetic society, it was a society, there are levels. Everybody in America is not the president. Everybody that was in Kemet were not kings and pharaohs. So you had your artists like yourself. You had your architects, your builders like Imhotep. Like, you had people who did different jobs that you could still take pride in saying that you can contribute it without necessarily saying king, but you have to know your history. You have to know where you come from to truly know who you are and get a glimpse of who you want to be in life. So Black Responsibility, that's a long way of saying education through fashion, but that was really the passion behind it. And I felt like at that age, I want to say I was 24, 25 years old, I felt like I thought it was sad that I didn't start learning about my history until I took an African American Studies course in undergrad, and my best friend Juke convinced me to take that I started learning about my history. This whole time I thought I didn't like history. It's that I didn't like history. It's that I didn't like the European history that I was taught in grade school. Once I started seeing what I contributed, it also made me take pride and made me take more of a responsibility on all my roles to be great, because I understand that it's in me, but I also now can look at my fellow brother and sister and see that it's in them too, and do my best in whatever position I get in life to bring them into it. So Black Responsibility goes several ways. Like, it's the responsibility that you have for yourself of knowing, understanding, and contributing, but it's also the responsibility that we all feel like we take of doing it for each other. So it kind of goes both ways, taking care of ourselves while also taking care of each other. It's a responsibility we have. Everybody gets mad about the way racism goes this way or that way, but the truth is, when we look at it in all actuality, people are taking care of their people. You can't ask another people's people, even if they wrong you, to take care of you, because they're not for you, because they're not your people. And That's not to say that we do not have allies, but that's just saying realistically, it has to be more of us doing for us than us asking, regardless of what we're on.
That's real. That was real right there. So are there any life disciplines that you live by that you can say contributed to your success and who you are today?
Yes. One of the biggest ones I say often is wake up and go to sleep. Anything in between I can handle. If I wake up, that means I made it through the night. If I go to sleep, that means I made it through the day. Anything in between, because of how I am and who I am, I know for a fact I will take care of it in between. Every day is not going to be how you like it. Every day is not going to be favorable. Some will be the best, some will be the worst. But whatever happens in between those hours that I'm awake, I'm going to do my job. So the goal is 2 goals every day. Wake up and go to sleep. Those are my only 2 goals. I'm going to handle everything in between. And I think that keeps me focused. That gives me grace. But that also drives me because I understand that that's all the time that I have to do whatever I have to do. But also understand that sometimes you may have so much to do that the time that you have, sometimes the time won't be enough and you have to prioritize because you have so many things. So it allows me to do what I need to do, but also be graceful when sometimes I fall short. I am human.
Take me some notes, man. You out here preaching right now. So what advice would you give to women of color who are contemplating starting their own business?
Start. Even if you don't know the route, even if you don't know how you're gonna get there, sometimes you may not even have a support system. But at least if you start, you can start working out the kinks. Be patient. Nothing comes overnight. It's not a saying that people just say, but what I will say is it'll come a lot faster if you have the right people around you. Don't get discouraged. Have grace with yourself. Pace it. Plan out for it. Mistakes that I made, I jumped into it. I'm like that. Like I'm a big picture type of person. I work backwards, and then I have to leave a gap and come from the back and start doing work, and then start replanning from the mistakes I made and the observations that I made. I'm a hands-on learner. But a biggest thing, know yourself. Know what works for you. Set out a plan that's going to make you be as efficient as possible, but don't not do it. Not doing it isn't an answer. Be graceful with yourself. Have all your ducks in a row. Try to create the best team you can. It can be done. Step out your comfort zone. Live at your edge, but do it.
Man, I appreciate that a lot. I'd be like, yo, you gotta enjoy being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like being uncomfortable it's not the only thing that gets you to where you need to be, but it's part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like for example, when I was in school, I took economics. Man, let me tell you, it was like learning a whole nother language. It was like my macro and micro. I had to sit in the front. I didn't know what was going on. I was chilling. I promise you, I passed that class because I was in the front every day. I usually sit in the back. I was chilling in the back. I'm one of the back dudes, you know what I'm saying? But I had to pass this class, so I got to get this piece of paper and get up out of here. My teacher was like, you know what? I seen you here every day, so I'm going to give you whatever you got in that grade. I'm going to give you 8 points plus 2 overall points in your grade. I was like, man, listen, so people see that. Like, people see you stepping out of, seeing you not being comfortable, getting out there, asking them questions, and people enjoy seeing that. So, you know, like Brooke said, y'all go ahead and start your business. You might fail. I failed. I'm 24. I've started a couple businesses that failed, but I'm still gonna keep pushing.
No lessons without it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can learn from other people. You can be observant, but it ain't like busting your own behind.
Exactly. And
that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah, and then when you fail, it's nobody's fault but yours, but you like, okay, it's on me. Like, I can't blame nobody but myself.
And you rather it be like that. Because if you start blaming other people and you lack accountability, one thing they say about successful people is integrity. And I feel like along with integrity comes accountability, and with accountability that comes from having the right responsibility. So to blame it on someone else, man, take your own L's. I want to claim my L's because the lessons that I learned out of my L's that's going to give me my W, I'm going to want to claim that W. If you put your L on somebody else, you also got to put your win on somebody else. Me, I'd rather put my L on me and put my wins on somebody else. And what I mean by that is acknowledging the people that help me get where I go, because nobody gets anywhere they go alone. And then the L's, I'll take the L's on the chin because I know I was built for it. That's what you're here for. You're here to take the L's. I mean,
you can look at that as, in a way, you can look at that as a small win because you learn it.
yeah. And some people not willing to take the L's. So at least and everybody's not made for everything. So I don't mind eating the L because that person, if you try to make that person eat that L, that might break them. Everybody's not built to take those type of risks.
Very true.
It's just like everybody ain't a fighter. I mean, going through this life to an extent, especially being African American, you gotta be a fighter. You gonna take L's. We've been taking L's our whole life. You might as well take it for something you want and something you believe in. And if it's that business, let it be. And that business might fail, but the lessons you learn from that business gonna make sure that the next business is what you want it to be. Start the business. Look, start the business.
So y'all go ahead and start y'all business. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all.
Please.
All right, Brooke. So I got my last and final question.
What's up?
What does it mean to you to be greater?
What does it mean to me to be great? Man, I tell people to be great all the time. That's a crazy thing. Depleting myself. If I invest all that I can into all of the things that I care about, wholeheartedly, with the purest intentions, you can't get greater than that. Because the impact that I'm able to make by investing in things that I love and things that I care about, because things about investing, there's a return on that. And the return is not so much of someone saying thank you and all of that, but seeing what it looks like when it leaves you. When all the energy that I've taken and that I've invested in other areas, seeing what everyone else creates with you. Because without a thank you, without anybody ever knowing, you know what you're a part of. And when something blossoms, you know whether or not you were part of that seed that made that what it is. And without the recognition, the reality of it, especially me pouring so much into my Black community, the reality of what I'll see later lets me know whether or not I was as great as I needed to be. So I can't know now, regardless of what people tell me, and it sounds good to hear sometimes, but I'll know I'm great the longer I live, the better I'll know I am. As long as I stay true to who I am, and I don't plan on changing from being this person. I've been this person since I was a kid, says my reflections and my family, so I don't think it'll change from here. And now I'm able to be an adult, but a big kid who's able to give people that look like us opportunity, people that look like us knowledge, hope, a smile, a helping hand, all of that. I'm able to observe people in a way that I feel like is rare, that allows me to contribute to those things. And as long as I continue to be pure intentions, deplete myself and give everybody all I have to give, including rejuvenating myself and depleting myself even when it comes to my own ideas, what I see as I live this life out.
Appreciate you. Man, so I want to say thank you for letting me interview you. I appreciate that. And y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I'll have all the links to her social media, my social media, websites, all that good stuff, so y'all can check us out. We will be working together in the future, so y'all be on the lookout.
Big facts.
And y'all stay tuned for more interview. Thank you again, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then we out.
Be great. Turn. Be great on BGreaterTv.